Hello, it's Bryan here from thegreatgooddino.com and creator of transformyourlifenow.com. Thanks for stopping by. Now, in this video, I'm going to take another closer look at one of my quote images and the point behind it. And for this time around, the image and the point I'm going to be looking at is this one. You weren't born feeling incapable or inadequate, you learnt it. So, unlearn it. Now, I took that picture down at Whitstable on the North Kent coast here in Britain. I do take a lot of pictures there because it does offer some spectacular sunsets on a clear day, and it's only 25-30 minutes odd drive down in the car. So I do nip down there a lot, and it creates some nice images when you're walking along the sea side, taking in a sunset like that, breathing in the lungfuls of the fresh sea air. It helps to get things in perspective. And perspective is what I'm talking about in this video. Now, there might be people saying, hang on, let's hang on just a cotton picking minute, right from the word go. We certainly are born incapable, where everything has to do things for us. We wouldn't survive without adults. We are incapable. Now, that's true. We are born incapable, but we're not born feeling incapable, and we're not born feeling inadequate. Now, there's a bit of brain science I'm going to be talking about here. Brain science has actually shown that there's a huge amount of neural connections firing off in the brains of young babies. In fact, more neuron connection activity than there is in adults. So when we as we grow up, I should say, I could talk about growing old, but as we grow up and as we develop, what happens is we actually stop tapping into some neural pathways and connections, and they tend to die off, so we lose them as we go along. Now, how that's relevant to this video is how we're taught things as we grow up from when we're first born. Yes, we're born incapable, but as we do start to develop the ability to take things on board, adults, our parents, the world around us, starts to imprint our internal model, starts to tell us how things should be done and how things shouldn't be done. Oh no, you should do it this way, you shouldn't do that, you can't do that, don't do that, do this, do that, you must do this, you have to do that. They all develop our internal models with us not knowing anything about it. When we do grow up more and develop more to the stage where we do start to know anything about it, because those internal models are already in place, we tend to take in feedback from the world that validates those internal models. And this is where the feeling and belief of incapability and inadequacy start to come into play. Because in an effort to keep us from harm, parents, adults, the world around us will start telling us, carry on telling us, oh no, you shouldn't do that. And if we see that some things other people are doing things that we've been told that we're not allowed to, that we shouldn't do, that we're not supposed to, if we see other people doing it, our brain says, well, hang on, if we're not doing it and they are, that must be because we're not capable, which says that they are capable. So if they're capable and we're not, we're incapable. Now, if you throw on top of that some segregation that comes on, where other people are allowed to do things and you're stopped from doing things, that brings on an inadequacy. Because if they're capable and you're not, if they're doing things and you're not, they're on a different level to you, And by default, that tends to mean or imply a level that's above you, which implies that you're on a level that's below them, which means you're less than them, which means that you're inadequate. So you can see why this happens almost before we know anything about it, and then it's been so ingrained by the time we do know something about it that it's very difficult for us to change it. Here's the thing though, it doesn't have to be that way. It might be that way now, it doesn't have to be that way carrying forwards. And here's what we can do about it. Once we understand the brain science that's gone on, and once we understand the influence that the people around us have had, we can take control and be proactive in introducing change. We can change our internal models by changing the way we take the feedback around us, and we can make a choice to change the people around us, to move away from people that don't support us, that are negative around us, that don't allow us to tap into our real selves, our passions, our joys, the authenticity we have within us, to a crowd and people around us that do allow us to tap into that self, that do support us and encourage us and help us and believe in us and want us to move forwards. If we do that, we then move forwards and take actions to learn how to do something. If we don't know how to do something, we don't just accept it as, oh, we're incapable, so that's just the way it has to be. No. You might be incapable now because you don't know, but you are capable of finding out how to do something, and you are capable of learning how to do something. Now, there's 2 points I've got to make when it comes to incapability beliefs and inadequacy beliefs. It could be that some things you're not capable of doing. Now, that might sound strange after what I've just said, but bear with me. So what I'm not saying is that we're incapable of everything, but I'm also not saying that we're capable of anything. That would be silly because, for example, if you wanted to break the world record in the marathon, your physical makeup, your body, has to be made up in a certain way. If it isn't made up in that way, and I know mine isn't made up that way, I'm never going to break the world record in the marathon, I can tell you. If your body isn't made up that way, all the mindset in the world, and it doesn't matter what you do physically, you will never have that body makeup. Does that make sense? So you're never going to be capable of breaking the world record in the marathon. Nothing to do with mindset, that's physical fact. So that's worth me saying, that we're not always capable of everything. I'm not saying that. In fact, it's silly to say so, and it can prompt people, if I did say that, to dismiss the whole field of personal development and self-improvement as nonsense. So it's important to point out I'm not saying that. The other thing to point out when we're changing our beliefs about inadequacy and incapability is that it might be difficult. It's not easy. It's not something that you can just flick a switch and suddenly everything changes. It can be difficult to make changes in life, actual real changes in life, and actual real changes in the physical makeup of your brain. Changing mindset sounds like wishy-washy stuff, and it can be wishy-washy because we're dealing with concepts and thoughts and words, but that actually can have a physical change in the makeup of your brain. And those neural connections that I talk about being let go when we were younger, well, we didn't lose them, they just became dormant. So we can fire them back up again. And when we do fire them back up again, we're making a physical change in our brain. We're changing the dominant physical pathways that are our go-to pathways in the brain, our go-to internal models. We're changing those. Sounds difficult? Well, it can be difficult, as I say, but the concept and the theory can be quite simple to understand, and it's getting on board with that concept is the start of all the changes. So, I hope you enjoyed that message. You weren't born feeling incapable or inadequate. You learnt it, so unlearn it. If you did enjoy that message, let me know. Feel free to leave a comment below wherever you happen to be seeing this video. Feel free to maybe hit the like button, maybe hit the share button if you think there's value in the message and that other people might get value from it as well. I would appreciate that support and that help. It helps me get exposure to my message as I try and put it out there as much as possible. Thank you for your support so far. Connect with me online. There's the blog, thegreatgordino.com. And on Facebook, which is my social media channel of choice, my username there is The Great Gordino. And then there's my Facebook pages, The Great Gordino Newsletter and facebook.com/yourlifetransforming. So it's Gordon Bryan signing off. If I feel incapable or inadequate, I decide to do something about it so that I become capable and I become adequate. Make sure you're doing the same too. Take the decisions, take the actions. It can transform your life.